Hi, I'm Melanie Heimer. I work at Northwestern Mutual, and we're a new customer. We just implemented Nlight this year. We are managing currently 651 cabinets to do 2 data centers and 2 colo locations. We have a goal to get all our TR closets added into Nlight as well, which would be about another 350 racks. Our main initiative just is to get a handle on everything we have, where it is. Going through the process of getting everything added into Nlight, we were able to commission about 15 cabinets worth of decommissioned hardware that was just sitting there, not being used, not being turned off. So we were able to shut that off and save that electricity. So that's our initiative so far. We used the open DCIM to prove why we needed a commercial product. You know, we were able to show the business value of gathering all that data and what we could do with it by starting down that path. For us, it was sit down and talk about standards, which we did do, and I thought we were all on the same page. But a U in a rack is simply a U in a rack, and when you start talking about cartridges for infrastructure management, fiber, you know, you may have multiple cassettes in one U device, and we had decided how we were going to do that, but yet everyone didn't do it the same way as we're gathering that data. So some of them made 3 entries in the open DCIM tool. Then when we tried to import that, you know, we had layers on top of layers of devices stacked on top of each other because people weren't following the standards, even though we talked about that. And you can have discovery tools go and find things, but planning the rack, all the cable management and the infrastructure, those are not discoverable. They're just static devices. So understanding how you're going to plan for those and arrange for that space and setting standards so that everything's in the same and you can duplicate it so it makes your work faster going forward. I think when it's a big project when you're starting out with DCIM, so you have to take a look at and plan what is your biggest headaches, what issues do you want to address first, and try to tackle them one at a time. If you need to know your inventory, work on that first, get that up and functioning and share that, and then maybe go to the energy and the UMCB implementations and all the integrations. But pick small parts so that you can get some wins along the way, show the business value. If you try to do the whole thing at one time and not share it with anybody until you're completely done, you never get done. It just seems like it's constantly a work in progress. We're always, oh my God, now we can do this, we can add this functionality. We can do this now and add this functionality. You know, we feel, my team and I, that we're never going to be done because we're constantly looking to make things better and improve the data and what the tool can do to help us and the infrastructure teams support the data centers.
Right.
Ours was maybe a little bit of a reverse of that. It's like we had this data and like you mentioned earlier, other teams all had their own data. And then there got to a point where the server teams like, hey, I'm looking for this server. Their records were not accurate. They came to us and we had it. And now they've stopped tracking that themselves and they just use our data. So that's the one thing I think that's hard to capture when you're trying to get back to your organization about what your return on investment is how do you capture the work that's not being done by other teams now because they can rely on this one source of data. The first part of the question, the biggest challenge in building the data is making sure that everybody does the data the same way. When you're looking at even a server, do you put HP, DL380, or do you put Cisco and the name of the model? Some people would put the model and then Cisco. Some people didn't put the maker at all. You know, when you go to import it, that all matters. So it's getting everyone on the same page, doing things the same way. And even though we talked about it and we thought we were doing it the same way, people understood that differently. So spending the time, maybe doing a little small sample instead of letting them go and do, you know, they spent a whole 4 hours and did a whole bunch of racks and they're different than the next person. We tied into, we had multiple business management systems, one very old. We weren't able to tie into that yet. We did have a Johnson Control Medisys system and we did tie that into the Neo add-on to Nlight and it works very well and we're getting alerts now and everything through that system. And it took, maybe an hour, we talked about it, and then working with JCI took a little bit longer, and then the implementation between Neo and the JCI system took, I think, an hour and a half. And then some configuration of how we wanted to see those alerts in Neo took maybe another 3 hours.